Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about diet. The D word. It's a 4-letter word, right? I struggle with it every day.
Right.
Every day.
It's tough, man. You know, we were born to just eat. We're like
Born to eat.
Yeah.
Food is so accessible.
Exactly.
Right?
Especially during this modern time. And also, I think during the pandemic when everyone was cooped up, a lot of people, I myself included, just kind of let myself go a little, but then trying to get back to it. So the fitness episode was very popular. So I thought, we could cover the other aspect of fitness, not just the activity, but what you
diet
eat.
for grapplers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Diet for grapplers.
So what should we talk about first? Like maybe like nutrition wise or like just diet plans? What do you
nutrition wise, diet plan. I think just the overall eating healthy, right? And what does that look like? What does that entail? And I have to preface this. I'm not a dietitian, nor am I a nutritionist, nor am I in phenomenal shape. I'm just a guy that does a lot of judo, right? And I'm kind of into this stuff.
Right.
So you gotta have to take everything I say with a grain of salt, right? A lot of the stuff that I do say is sort of common knowledge stuff, right? But I am not an expert.
But you've tried a lot of different.
I've tried a lot of this stuff. I've
yeah.
even had nutritionists and stuff before.
Right.
You know?
So
let's talk a little bit about how I do things, because then it's like a little bit more like, hey, not you should do it, but what I do.
Right.
And I sort of base my eating philosophy around Michael Pollan's 3 food rules.
Oh, okay. What are
Michael
those?
Pollan. So he has this. He wrote this book, Carnivore's Dilemma. He's big into that nutrition scene. He recently wrote a book about psychedelics. He's a very smart guy. Very well-known guy. Right? He has 3 food rules. Eat food, mostly plants, not too much. Those are the 3 rules. Eat food. Don't eat processed foods. Like eat real food. Right? Like American cheese. That's a food product. Highly processed, right? And I try to distinguish between food versus food product. And I always, Cheerios, food product, not a food. Food product, right? So am I eating real food, right? Rice, yeah. Chicken, yes. Fish, yes. Vegetables, yeah. Those are food.
How about bacon?
Yeah.
Is it food? It's food? Yeah. Okay.
Meat,
Nice.
Fat, protein, fat. Yeah.
I love bacon, so.
Yeah, bacon's great. Yeah, so this is the thing, right? Eat food. Mostly plants, research shows, like, I'm not saying don't eat meat. I ate a lot of meat, gave myself gout, it's like a uric acid inflammation situation in my toe. They call it, like, what do they call it? The luxury disease or something like that.
Wait, when did this happen? I didn't know that.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Oh.
It's kind of on and off. I get these gout flare-ups now.
Dang, okay.
That's how you know when you're in your 30s. When you're deep in your 30s and you eat a lot of meat and drink a lot of beer. No, I don't drink any more beer, but like...
Right.
Beer, beef, like those things can really give you a gout attack. So anyway, eat food, mostly plants, right? Mostly plants, right? Big portion of your diet should come from plants, right? Rice is a plant, wheat is a plant, vegetable, greens, kale, potatoes, those are all plants.
I've try to eat more plants too, and then I even started eating a lot of vegetable burgers and stuff. They're pretty tasty now.
Yeah, those are food products, Peter.
Oh, really? Should I not?
Yeah, man, veggie patty, highly processed, like vegetables don't look like that.
How about the, like Impossible burgers and stuff?
Oh man,
I like those.
That's like that's a food product.
Man.
Will I eat that? Sometimes, yeah. But it's not healthy for you. They have what's called, I think in the industry, people call it a health halo.
Oh, dang.
Right? So when you throw around terms like all plants, healthy for you, organic, natural, low sodium, it's like, oh man, like that sounds amazing. Like no trans fats, like that's a health halo. It sounds healthy. There's like a halo around it saying like, hey, we're healthy. But the more they advertise, the more they push this idea of it that it is healthy, the worse off it is for you, because the more processed it is.
Oh man.
Because an apple doesn't have a label. It just doesn't.
Just the apple.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have like this and that. And even apples now, different from what apples used to be. Right? And like you could go down the rabbit hole of like GMOs, and like Trader Joe's is all GMO produce. You know what I mean? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You can go down the deep path of this.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get a little bit too crazy about this stuff, but when I get too crazy about it, it's not sustainable. And then I crash and burn and I eat ice cream every night for, whatever amount of time.
Yeah.
So
I
eat
see.
food, mostly plants and not too much, right?
Mm.
Research just shows like being at a caloric deficit is good for you, right? You don't
I
want to
see.
overeat because that's where inflammation and all this stuff happens. Like I said, I'm not a scientist, right? Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt.
Right.
I know just enough to sound like I know what I'm talking about. But if you ask me to deep dive into anything,
Uh-huh.
it's especially when it
Well,
comes to this stuff.
I think it's generally good advice. I mean, it's not really hard to adhere to.
Yeah.
But those are good rules.
Yeah, 3 rules.
Yeah.
Eat food, mostly plants, not too much. Michael Pollan's rules, not my rules.
Yeah.
I just follow them.
I
Right?
see.
Because it made sense to me when I listened to it.
Right.
Martin Rooney was my strength and conditioning coach for a long time. And he was a physical therapist first before he was a high-level coach.
Right.
And then I spoken to nutritionists about this stuff too. And then he suggested this book. I read it and I was like, oh man, this makes a lot of sense.
I see. So so those are simple rules that you could adhere to, but some people go crazy with like strict diets,
Yeah.
diet plans. Like what is the one that's only eating meat and fat?
Carnivore diet, ketogenic diet.
Ketogenic, all that. What do you think about those things?
I think keto's great.
Yeah.
When you're putting your body into ketosis, I think it's a great thing. People should do it. But at the end of the day, you're at a caloric deficit because you're taking out carbs completely.
Right.
It's easy to eat a bowl of rice and feel hungry, right? But it's
Right.
not easy to eat, 800 calories of protein and, be hungry. You'll be full longer, right? It's more satiating.
Right.
But even keto, it's like, oh, I can eat these foods. People go crazy overboard with it. It's like, all right, I'm gonna eat bacon every morning, and I'm gonna eat a stick of butter. And I've known guys who've done that. That's dirty keto.
God.
So I like to distinguish dirty keto and clean keto. You could have clean keto where it's like, all right, I'm eating, broccoli with a little bit of butter. I'm eating lean protein chicken, and then maybe right, like you could do clean keto, with staying away from grains, staying away from carbs. You could do that. That's a lot healthier than doing dirty keto where you're sitting around, eating chunks of fat off like a ribeye.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because lipidology is a real thing. Some people just like, oh, yeah, fats, but there's healthy fats too.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Almond is different than,
Like vegetable
And I'm
fat.
not saying like
yeah.
saturated animal fats are bad, right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, but it's like, yeah, ketogenic diet can be good.
Right.
They can all be good if you follow the 3 simple food rules, right? Eat
Right,
food,
right.
mostly plants, not too much.
I
Big
see.
believer in this. And it always loops back to that for me.
Because there's just like basic ground rules that you could always follow, and
Yeah, and sustainability is huge. And
Right,
I've
you
struggled
have
with
to
my
keep going,
whole
yeah.
life, man. You see me sometimes
Right,
I'm
yeah.
230. You see me sometimes I'm 180. I go
Right.
up and down and up and down. I fought 220. Great reason for me to. And when I was a junior in high school, I wrestled 275. I wasn't weighing 275.
Right,
But
right.
the kid at 215 was, ranked 4th in the country or something. And my coach was like, why don't you just go 275? Because,
I see. There's
you
no-
probably
yeah.
fare better there and you probably make it to States, right? So I was like, okay. And that gave me an excuse to just eat whatever I want and just blow up to 240.
Right,
I didn't
right.
feel good. I didn't compete well. I mean, I did, but like, I wasn't optimal.
Right,
I'm
right.
short, right? So it's like, that's no good. And then sometimes I crash diet and I go down to I fought 178 for Judo, and then I have to really watch what I eat, watch my macros because I don't want to lose mass, right?
Right.
I want to lose fat, not mass, but ultimately you end up losing a little bit of both.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, what do you think about like some other things, like maybe just not just what you eat, but like the timing of it, like intermittent fasting and stuff?
Yeah, it's great if you can do it. There's a guy, you guys all watch my YouTube channel, so you guys probably know George.
Right.
He probably has the most extreme diet I've ever seen. And people
He's
go on
really
keto.
strict, yeah.
Yeah, he does ketogenic diet / intermittent fasting. Right? And I know so many people that go on keto, so many people that go on intermittent fasting, never more than a couple months at a time. Most people can do it for a week, that's it, right? This guy's been on it for like 4 years, 5 years, consistently, never breaks. He's so disciplined with his diet.
Never seen him break, man.
Yeah,
It's
he doesn't
crazy.
eat at all day. Drinking water, caffeinated, black coffee's up. That's it. He doesn't eat anything during the day. Comes to Judo on an empty stomach, works out.
Whoa,
Goes home, eats 1 meal a day.
he fasts that much?
He intermittent fasts every day. He only eats 1 meal a day, and it's usually after Judo.
And he's jacked, shredded.
He's jacked, man. He's jacked. So there's research suggesting like intermittent fasting has muscle preserving effects, right?
Oh, okay.
Ketogenic diet when you're on the ketosis, right?
Yeah.
There's muscle preserving effects.
I see.
And he'll if he lifts weights, then he'll eat something after.
I see. To supplement that.
Yeah. And he does clean keto. He does clean
Right.
keto. He eats vegetables. Like I've had, dinner with this guy
Yeah.
many, many times, and it's like he does his training. He's like, all right, I'm gonna crush food. 2 salads, mix them together, throw a big thing of chicken on there.
He loves pesto.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
Right. Loves pesto sauce.
Yeah.
Right. Eats a lot of almonds. Like he really lives by that.
Right. Right. It's quite impressive. Yeah, I've never seen him.
I've never seen anyone like that.
Yeah,
He's shredded and he's big, so he's kind of an inspiration. I do think I hear a lot of people always saying like, "Oh man, like I didn't time my eating right before practice. Like I ate too close to practice. I don't feel good." I hear that. Or I didn't eat anything today. I don't feel good. I do believe in intermittent fasting.
I see.
Believer in that. But like you kind of have to get used to it. You have to get used to feeling the hunger pangs, and you have to get used to working out fasted.
It's like all about sustainability. Like it can
sustainability, yeah. Consistency is the fourth part of the 4 food rules.
Right.
Anything you can do for a short period, great. But like if you can't maintain it, then what's the point of doing it?
I guess it's with anything in life, really. Like
Yeah.
a good diet is a diet that you can stick to.
Yeah. And I think the most misleading thing online about diet is like, hey, check out what Michael Phelps eats on a daily basis. It's like, depending on his training cycle too, right? He doesn't always eat like that, 24/7. He's probably not eating that same thing now.
Right.
Those things are kind of misleading, because people ask me like, what's your diet like? What do you do? How do you do it? All this stuff. It's like, hey, depends. What I'm doing right now is different from what I was doing during the pandemic when I was sitting around eating peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm trying to squeeze a little bit and cut down,
Me too.
Probably tell from my face, I've been watching it. Stay below 2,000 calories, right? Try to stay as fast as long as I can. I know myself though, right? I know after judo, I want to throw down some calories, like
Some
big
beer.
time. Yeah, so it's like I save my calories for later in the evening.
Same. I think it's like it really depends on what I'm doing during the day too. Like I think I honestly I do intermittent fasting too, but it's more out of my daily schedule. Like I just don't want to be busy in the morning.
It's okay to be hungry.
Yeah.
It's okay to be hungry.
Right.
Coming from a guy that's fat half the time, most of the time, actually probably like 70% of the time, I'm like kind of fat,
No, you're not fat. Come on.
No, I'm carrying a good amount of body fat on me.
Right.
But it's okay. It's fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go up and down, as long as you're trying to get to a better place always and you're improving, you're learning, I think it's good. I fall off the wagon big time. I'll tell you one that I really liked for a while that I was doing. I was doing like, this is something that I completely came up with on my own based on all the stuff that I've...
Yeah?
You'll probably remember it. You'll be like, oh, I remember you were doing that. I was doing this like hunting thing. Not hunting, not actually hunting. Like, I'm not like... I don't have the time to go out in the woods. And yeah, if I really dedicated myself, I could probably do it. But I had this mentality of like pre-hunt herbivore, post-hunt carnivore. I was doing that.
Huh.
And I would treat my judo sessions as a hunt.
Oh, I see. I
You
see.
remember
I
this?
see. Yeah.
I would treat my workouts
Yeah.
like a hunt. So when I woke up in the morning, it's like I'm eating like things like grains, grass, like, almonds, stuff that I've gathered from the forest, right? And then it's like I'm going to the gym, I'm deadlifting heavy today. I hope I, get 565 for, singles or whatever it was at the time. Like I can't do that now, my back hurts. But like I'm going to go out there and then crush this workout. That's going to be my hunt, right? God, go after it. And then after I've hunted,
You
right?
would
I'm giving that stimuli of like going for something, right? Wrestling something to the ground or whatever it is. Then I like reward myself with like a very heavy carnivorous meal. And I was kind of doing that. And I like felt like, oh man, like we were
back to the roots.
to like live like this and eat like this. And I was trying to do it. And I was trying to eat like, there was like a butcher, Hudson and Charles on 80-something.
Dude.
Remember that place?
Yeah.
Dude, I got everybody on that
meat.
place.
Yeah.
So they had like a farm upstate. They would bring the cows in, and sometimes they'd be like, "Hey man, we're getting a cow on Tuesday, bro. Right? If you need whatever it is," and I will go in, right? And
they'll give you, whatever inch fat steak.
Yeah. And it's
Dry
like
aged.
all grass
Yeah.
fed, all this and that, and you could actually go visit the farm or something. Can't remember exactly what it was.
What did you call it? Humanely raised?
Humanely raised,
Yeah.
humanely raised. That
Yeah.
was the thing. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, factory farming is so messed up.
Right.
It's so
It is.
disastrous. It's so disgusting. You know, I'm not a vegan in any way. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not a vegan in any way, and I'm not trying to like advocate and be like a nature
Right.
hippie. But like factory farming is bad for everybody.
Yeah. It's
Bad for your body because it's not good for you. It's not good for you food.
right.
It's trash food almost. Right? It's not real food. You know, animals raised the way they were meant to be raised.
They're in
and
such
it's bad for the
under such a stress.
environment. And they just do some. It's an abomination, right? So anyway, I'm going down the rabbit hole over there. Right? It was like a pre-hunt.
Makes sense.
Herbivore.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, not always herbivore because like. Oh, I hunted last night and I have all this.
You have a little bit
meat.
left over.
And I got left over. But I'm grazing, right? I'm getting ready for the hunt. And the hunt, the part of the hunt is like being a little hungry. Or you have to be a little bit hungry for the hunt, you know?
Right.
You have to be like a little bit hungry, like your alertness is raised because you're like, oh man, I gotta eat, so I gotta find something to eat. And then there's George and a gi.
Oh man.
Put my hands on it and like sink my claws, drag him to the ground. I'm choking him, you know what I mean?
That's a big
Right?
one.
It's
That's
primal.
A big one.
It's primal.
Yeah. I see.
So like that was my whole mentality, and I did that for a little while. Probably lasted a good 6 months when I was like doing that, and I was in really, really good shape.
Yeah.
And I had some abs showing slightly.
Nice.
It's a good time. Yeah.
So we talked a lot about this the everyday diet plans, strategies, keto, intermittent fasting, your herbivore, carnivore thing. But now another aspect of dieting for grappling is weight cutting.
Oh yeah. That's a big one.
That's like a big one. So now that we talked about the everyday thing, how about weight cutting? These are not everyday things.
No,
These are just for
but they're
specific competitions.
interrelated.
Right.
And I used to mess myself up doing this too, because I used to
Right.
know that I could cut 20 pounds when I'm fully hydrated and eating whatever I want
Right.
to make weight within a certain time frame, usually a week.
Right.
So I would just eat whatever I want, and then like especially during the wrestling season, I would blow up, and then I would try to cut 20 pounds at the last second or last minute or last day or whatever it is.
Right.
But then there can't be a disconnect there.
Right.
Because if you're carrying body fat, you got to get rid of that first. So
Right.
the everyday stuff leads in. So you want to be as close as possible to that weight before you start to cut water out.
Right.
Because I could naturally be at 178 shredded around the clock all year round and compete optimally at that weight. Right. But I could be carrying a lot of body fat and then hanging out, and I'm 200 pounds and I lose 20 pounds. And then now like I can't really compete optimally. And I used to do that for years, and I still never really graduated from that because I'm not as disciplined as people would think, right? There's some athletes that are like Mayweather is around the clock working out. He's shredded.
Right.
I'm not one of those people, right? I like my ice cream. I like my pizza. You know, I used to drink a lot, right?
Yeah.
Not anymore. I used to drink a lot. So I kind of let myself go. So being close as possible to that weight is huge. That's first and foremost. So it has to be integrated.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, when you're cutting down, right, you have to drink a lot of water, and you have to manipulate your sodium, and then water, like, let's just say 1.5 gallons of water, 2 gallons of water.
Right.
2 gallons, 2 gallons, 2 gallons, 1 gallon, 1 gallon, half a gallon, no water, right? Sodium, no sodium, body getting rid of it, kind of like that.
Right.
And that's sort of like the general way it's practiced. I don't recommend it. It's crazy. People shouldn't do it, right? People have kidney failure. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't advocate for this. But people do this. And when they're wringing out the water out of their system, they take hot baths, they put albumin on their skin, and then they go into saunas and stuff like that. I don't view it as a diet. Weight cutting is a completely separate thing.
Right.
So like good diet, clean diet, caloric deficit, getting close to the weight, and then the very last thing you do is that. But if you're carrying body fat, you shouldn't be doing that last bit. You should just naturally be at that weight. And that's coming from a person that never really did it right.
It's just the weight cutting is just to shave off the last few.
Last bits. Couple of pounds.
Just to make it.
Water.
Just to get
water.
on the scale and then make it into the weight class you want.
Yeah.
But
And then you drink that water back, and now all of a sudden you're a little bit heavier than
heavier.
the other person kind
Right.
of mentality.
Yeah.
And having, day before weigh-ins helps too.
Right.
Depends on when the weigh-ins are. So they changed a lot of stuff in International Judo. Like now,
They don't do morning weigh-ins anymore?
They do. I don't know right now, but they switched it around. Before they did day before weigh-ins. Now, I think the last time I competed was day of in the morning, right? So now you can't do that as much.
Right. Because you didn't have time to recover.
Yeah, man. Think about it. If you're like a 220-pound guy,
right,
you diet down to 200, you shred it at 200,
right,
and then you lose another 20 pounds and you're competing, you step on the scale 180, and you have all day to rehydrate and all this stuff, and the next day you're competing, and now you're walking out there at 210.
Yeah.
And then picture this. The guy is naturally 170 pounds walking around carrying a little bit of fat, right? So this soft, pudgy, average-looking 170-pound guy going against a 210-pound guy, that may be the differential between someone that diets properly and cuts weight versus someone that's just naturally kind of carrying body fat who should be at 145, but he's competing at 178, walking around at 170,
Right.
So that makes a difference. That matters. Right?
That's why people do it. Yeah, that's why every single piece of advantage counts at that level.
Yeah, but you know what? When you're a white belt, when you're a yellow belt, when you're a beginner, it doesn't matter. Right? Don't get too caught up in that, because now all of a sudden, like, you've never done it before, but now you're trying to cut 10 pounds of weight.
Right.
Like, you're stressing about your weight and cutting the water. It's like that's why.
Right.
I understand the appeal to want to do that because, like, hey, I'm cutting weight. It sounds like cool because all the pros do it, right?
Right.
But it's not something that you want to introduce too early. It's not something you want to rely on always. You should just, if you're not lean already, if you could be naturally at that weight, be naturally at that weight using the 3 food rules.
Right. So it's more about, keep up with the good diet, the everyday diet, remembering those rules, and weight cutting. Maybe if you are, like, it's not recommended. I mean, it sucks. It sucks. I've done it multiple times.
I'm not saying it's not recommended, because if you're competing,
I mean, you have to do it, I guess.
Weight.
Yeah.
You gotta cut weight. Especially, you don't have to, but it helps. Some of the great athletes are in the right weight class. They're in the right weight class.
Right. Pros struggle with weight cutting too. It's not something that's easy.
Everyone struggles with it. And when you're in a weight class sport and you're constantly getting down to a certain weight, it's very easy to just like, oh man, I'm tired of doing this. I'm gonna go eat like crazy and binge for a month, and their weight bounces up. And you see a lot of this yo-yo stuff.
Right. Not healthy.
Probably not. I'm gonna guess no.
Right.
I'm gonna guess no. Right.
It's a good guess. It's probably not good.
Yeah. It's fun, managing your own body, because you're in control, right? And that's what it's about, and even like some of the extreme stuff, the food eating disorder stuff, like a lot of people do this stuff just to feel in control, But I think the 3 food rules are a great way to start, right?
Right. Makes
Michael
sense.
Pollan's situation.
Yeah.
Ketogenic diet. Is okay if that's right for you. Whole30 is another one where you like get rid of everything. You start from scratch, right? Some people think nightshades are bad for you because they cause inflammation. Nightshades being like tomatoes, eggplants, and such.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Tom Brady doesn't eat nightshades. He doesn't even eat that stuff. Some people have
many
a gluten intolerance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people have allergies too. Some
Right.
people can't eat peanuts. Right. So it's like you kind of have to know your body. You have to be in tune with your own body.
Right.
I'm not saying go out there and talk to a nutritionist. It's hard out there because there's so much noise when it comes to diet. Everyone wants to be shredded. Everyone thinks that they have the right answer, right? And, like judo, it's like it has to be catered to you. You have to know yourself before you even go into this stuff. You can't just adopt and do what George is doing, and I tried that. Can't do it.
It's George's thing.
Yeah, it's George's thing, that he prides himself on it, and he's using it as a way to be better. Right. Like he's very disciplined in that way. Right. And it's a self-improvement thing, and he puts a lot of value on that. Right. So, and for some people, it's like, I want to go out and have dinner with my buddies, and I don't want to be that guy that's not eating bread at the dinner. Like, that's a thing. Right. It's like, you have your goals. How bad do you want them?
It's about, balancing your goals, your daily responsibilities and obligations. The key is sustainability. Like, you have to keep it up remember the big rules and pick and choose whatever works for you.
Yeah. Martin Rooney used to always say to me, like, if you can't dig it out the ground, fish it out of the ocean, hunt it down and kill it, don't eat it. Or pick it off a tree, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Like four things. He used to always say that.
Yeah, that's how we were, you know.
I was like, what about Boston chicken with the chicken? Like, chicken's good, right? He's like, can you get that kind of chicken? You know, like, no, that shit's factory farmed, injected with hormones. Like, that's not real chicken. That's a food product, right? It's like, oh, so I shouldn't be eating Boston chicken with gravy and all this stuff. It's like, no.
Right? So these factory farm chickens, they can't even walk after a certain age, apparently, because they are.
Yeah, it's messed up. Dude, I just saw a documentary. Anything like health-related documentary, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes they lose me with their crazy, because they have their agenda too, right? It's propaganda in so many ways. I was watching something, it was like a pro-vegetarian documentary, and they were saying like, eggs are just as bad for you as cigarettes.
Oh, wow.
And they were like trying to make that argument. I'm like, you know, like they said a lot of good things, but that one statement lost me. Like I can't watch this. Like I can't, this is like trash now to me. Like you ruined the whole documentary because of that one statement.
That's an outlandish claim. Yeah.
Outlandish claim. I can't remember exactly what it was. Maybe I misheard. I don't know. I mishear a lot of things, you know, confirmation bias. And a lot of the times I hear something and I just filter it into the things I already know. Like, I think I believe in that. So it must be true. Okay, I take that. You know, that makes sense. But you know what? Nope, I'm going to reject that.
As we all are prone to do. Yeah.
As we are all prone to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, man, eat food, mostly plants, not too much. That's a good rule to live by.
And stick to it.
And it's not mine. I can't stress that enough. It's Michael Pollan's thing.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, he has a lot of books, but Food Rules, I think, is the book that I read.
Nice.
Something like that. That's good. And that's, you know, I think we're talking about diet, but diet and grappling go hand in hand because you have to be optimal. Yeah. Right? And we didn't talk about macronutrients. So you have to have protein to recover, right? And, you know, I think the consensus is like between half a gram to a gram of protein per body weight. Me, I try to do 100 grams of protein a day, at least minimum. Always. Right?
You count the grams?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So it's like I know like a scoop of my protein is 25 grams. So if I add 2 scoops, it's 50. I know they say like optimal absorption is 25 or whatever it is, but it's like sometimes I'll do that just to get it in.
Oh, the shakes?
Yeah, man. It's like 250 calories, 50 grams of protein. Okay, like knock those two things out of there. I still have 1750 left in calories.
Right.
And I kind of like got daily half.
I see.
I try to go over, obviously. 100 is the bare minimum.
I see.
And I try to do 100 ounces of water, but it's like if I pee all the time, right? If I'm drinking that.
Right. That's a lot of water.
Depending on how much I need to go to the, right?
Yeah.
If I'm home all day, I'll drink that. 100 ounces of water, no problem. It's like 100 grams, 100 ounces. And that's sort of, and then 2,000 calories sort of is like where I'll try to be at.
I see.
And that's kind of the general guideline for me. You know, like I said, it depends on the cycle. Like if I'm benching heavy, if I'm trying to get strong and big, then I'm going to eat more. I'm going to have more protein, right? Because recovery is important.
Right. It depends on your goal and
Yeah, it depends on your goal. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a big topic, very important topic we talked about. I mean, we couldn't have possibly covered everything, but
no way.
Hopefully we gave you
You're
guys
gonna be hitting me up like, what about beta alanine?
I know.
Like, oh, man.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
What about creatine monohydrates? Like, here's a YouTube video.
Yeah. So we try to give you guys some big rules and big principles so that you guys, because it like Shintaro said, it has to be personalized. You have to know your body.
Yeah.
You have to know your life.
Yep.
Yeah. So anything else to conclude the episode? No? Cool.
That's it. Thank you guys for listening as always.
Yeah.
Right? Peter's mother-in-law is selling hats.
Oh yeah. Hey, Shintaro's got one. It's for it's great for summer. Those are bucket hats. They're really hot. So thanks for listening, guys, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.